So what has our $58 million that was paid for the cathedral been used for? Who got it? And for what work done? We need to start from the idea. It is said to have been conceived by President Akufo-Addo to give Ghana a monumental building for national events that will also generate tourism by including a grand Bible museum and garden. The cathedral was also to be used for presidential events, including national church services, swearing-in ceremonies for high-profile state officials, including presidents. Restaurants and other interests concludes the list. The Board of Trustees for Ghana's National Cathedral was officially inaugurated by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on March 16, 2017. By then, three things had been done. Design architects chosen. Government promised seed money to be paid through the budget. Sir David Adjaye was chosen as the main architect, and he worked with many famous local contractors including Asafo Boakye. Who is Sir David Adjaye? Sir David Adjaye, the founder of Messrs. Adjaye and Associates, is a celebrated architect with deep ties to both Ghana and the United Kingdom. He was born in Tanzania in 1966 to Ghanaian parents, and because his father worked as a diplomat, young David moved around several countries during his childhood. Eventually, he settled in the UK, where he pursued his education and built a remarkable career in architecture. It is said that his work stands out for blending modern architectural techniques with strong cultural and historical references, especially from Africa. One of his most famous creations is the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., a building praised not only for its striking design, but also for the way it tells a powerful story through architecture. The land chosen was in central Accra, near the Ridge Runabout, and measured 16.26 acres. The Cathedral Board was supposed to proceed with supervision and fundraising from home and abroad among Christians in Ghana and the diaspora. Towards this end, a fundraiser chaired by the President was conducted in Washington, D.C. to help in the construction of the National Cathedral. The first part of the $58 million was an amount of $26.1 million paid to Messrs. Adjaye and Associates pursuant to a PPA approval. The money was used for the provision of architecture and design, consultant services, supervision of development, landscape supervision, monitoring and evaluation. Subsequently, structuring was achieved and the following have been done. 1,400 cubic meters of in situ concrete have been poured into the foundational and structural elements. 220 tons of reinforcing steel, rebar, have been installed to strengthen the concrete structures. Initial installation of 10,000 square meters of waterproofing materials to ensure proper protection of the foundation and substructures from water infiltration. 1,900 tons of reinforcing steel have been procured and delivered to the site. Completion of the preliminary setup of the National Cathedral's construction site. Delivery and installation of 5 large construction cranes, a concrete batching plant to produce concrete on site, specialized facilities such as rebar cutting and bending yard, office spaces, a staff canteen, washrooms and storage warehouses have all been constructed to support daily site operations. For these works and installations, Ribadi has been paid a total sum of $26.7 million for their work in the project. Additions to the cathedral for the purpose of economic sustainability and massive tourism. The cathedral also features a Bible museum as it is in the United States, which generates about $75 million a year, with biblical gardens to facilitate the Bible museum. The total sum of $5.2 million to the design team comprising world-renowned firms, Cubic Maltby, the PRD Group LLC, Cortina Productions, Jonathan Martin Creative Incorporated, with project portfolios spanning leading museums in the world, and which team is coordinated by Carrie Summers, the founding president of the globally acclaimed Museum of the Bible, MOTB, in Washington, D.C. In effect, the $58 million was applied as follows. $26.1 million was paid to Messrs. David Adjaye and Associates. $26.7 was paid to Ribadi. $5.2 million was paid to the Museum and Garden Design team of Cubic Maltby, the PRD Group LLC, Cortina Productions, Jonathan Martin Creative Incorporated. This becomes the total sum of $58 million United States dollars paid for the work done. So how will the cathedral look like when fully completed? It will feature the following: 5,000-seat auditorium expandable to 15,000, multiple chapels, a baptistry, and a grand central hall, Africa's first Bible museum and a biblical garden, music school, art gallery, and multi-use spaces, children's area for storytelling and exhibits. The cathedral is intended to serve as a sacred space for national worship, especially during formal state occasions such as presidential inaugurations, state funerals, and national Thanksgiving services. In a country where over 70% of the population identifies as Christian, the project is seen as a unifying symbol that brings together various denominations under one roof, fostering Christian unity and national cohesion and generating significant income for the public purse. The cathedral is designed to be a cultural and educational hub. It will house Africa's first Bible museum and a biblical garden, showcasing the role of Africa and Africans in biblical history. These features aim to position Ghana as a center for religious scholarship and pilgrimage, potentially attracting visitors from across the continent and the diaspora. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.